Do you ever wonder why so many leaders find it difficult to conduct effective evaluations? Maybe it's because we're missing one tool. Well, here it is this morning for your weekly kick. Hey, good morning. Welcome to your weekly kick. How many times have you found yourself in this situation as a leader? Somebody is needing you to give them constructive feedback. They're desperately needing to hear what they're doing right and what they're not doing right, where they need to be corrected a little bit, where they need to make some adjustments, maybe large or small adjustments. And maybe it's a yearly evaluation. Maybe it's an evaluation that happens 2 or 3 times a year. And you find yourself at a loss. How do I do this effectively? Well, I found myself in that situation a number of times until I discovered there's a tool that I was missing. Here it is. Todd, it's a tape measure. Yeah, you're right. It's just a simple tape measure, and it goes all the way on even how many feet? 25 feet, I think. When we're trying to measure something, we need the right tools. We can't just say, this table's the right size for what I need in my room unless we measure it, unless we know, unless we measure the room and unless we measure the table and evaluate it that way. The same goes with the people that we're leading. It's very, very difficult, if not impossible, to give someone constructive, helpful feedback and insight into how they're doing. It's hard to evaluate somebody if we don't have the tools to measure how they're doing. Last week we talked about laying out clear and concise expectations so people know exactly what we're expecting from them. That's the first step. Once we have that, then we have a bit of a benchmark to measure off of. We can measure where they are in relation from there to here and give them feedback on this. Maybe it's a positive feedback, maybe it's a negative one. When I say negative, I mean correction. Helping someone learn what they need to be doing better. Sometimes we shy away from that as leaders because we're just not quite sure on how to approach it. Whether it's going to be simply a subjective viewpoint from how I see things. If we are able to measure things, if we're able to go, here's where you were 6 months ago, here's where you are today, here's the expectations I laid out or we laid out as a company a number of months ago or a year ago or 2 years ago, and here's where you are today. Here's where you've moved in a positive direction or potentially in a negative direction where you've gotten less productive at what you're doing or less capable or you're just not doing what you need to do as effectively as you were several months ago or several years ago. Once we're able to do that, then we can quite comfortably sit down with someone or stand beside them and go, hey, I just want to give you some feedback. Or here's what I think you're doing right. Thanks for doing this. This is great. I notice. And I wanted to just affirm that what you're doing is great. Or to stand beside someone or sit down across the table from someone and say, you know what? Here's what I'm seeing. Here's what we laid out as expectations. And here's where you've gone to. And we're able to measure that objectively. That's crucial. Then we can give productive evaluations. We can be productive when we're helping somebody and helping them see how they're either doing what's right and where they need to be heading or where they need to make a course correction. The more effective we want to be as leaders in doing this, the more effectively we've got to be able to measure where they're at. Now this video is too short for me to go into detail about how to do that. But if you're interested in learning more, go to my website, www.bootsonthegroundcoaching.com, www.bootsonthegroundcoaching.com, and click on that, and it'll take you to some links where I will give you some more information. And my new book, More Than a Hammer, Leadership Tools for the Trades, also has several chapters on how do we evaluate people effectively. How do we help them know what they're doing right and where they need to improve and then help them do it. If you receive this weekly kick through an email, you can just reply to the email and ask me the question. Or Facebook or LinkedIn, message me and ask me the question that you might have on how do we actually measure people's performance relative to our expectation. Have a great week. We'll see you next Wednesday for your weekly kick, where we're going to talk some more about how do we lay out expectations so that the things that we need to get done every time. Talk to you then.